fast life, the fast living. They see the ambition, they know I'm past driven. Look, we are not the same, this is not a game. I be swerving through the city in and out of lanes. Yeah, cause if I see it, then I want it, then you better know I got it. Ain't no options, I'm about to do the damn thing. I'm an outlaw, you can never catch me. I'm in first place.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
And today we are back to discuss another episode of Godfather of Harlem. This is season 3, episode 7, and it was titled All Roads Lead to Malcolm. But before we get started with the conversation, please make sure you guys drop down and click that subscribe button, the like button, and click the notification bell so you get alerted whenever we post. So now that we've got our house cleaning out the way, let's jump into this episode. This was a good one. A lot of twists and turns I wasn't expecting personally. So, Tiff, you kind of alluded to all roads lead to Malcolm, and you said literally like that everybody was coming for him. And I kind of learned some new stuff, about all of the government involvement, because I knew that, FBI was kind of hunting him, and then it was revealed to me that it was more like a competition of who could get him first, and I was like, that's kind of nuts.
Yeah, the CIA, they typically get their hands dirty with stuff like that, but of course, the FBI was hot on his trail too, and it's unfortunate. As long as he was that little Negro in the community,
That's I would say that.
Yeah, it was fine. But once, he was able to broaden.
Speaking at the United Nations.
Yeah, and he's
Che Guevara.
Yeah.
Now,
who was a revolutionary too.
Yeah, and they call him a commie. Everybody was a commie back then. If if you weren't white, blonde haired, and blue eyed, you were a commie.
Yeah, and it was interesting because Bumpy only gave that little piece of information to Jose, and he told him, like, you're the only person that knows this. And so, as we go throughout the situation, it's kind of like Jose last week, the Orisha said that he was going to be the one to betray in the friendship. Well, she didn't say it, but she said the betrayal was going to happen, but we realized that it was going to be on Jose's end. And
I'm of the opinion that Bumpy put that nugget out there just to check, just to see. I'm of that opinion.
I think so too.
He didn't necessarily show it in his face, but I'm of that opinion that, and that's how cunning Bumpy is, at least it has been in season 3. He's always thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead. And he was also in real life a master chess player. So, he's actually showing, that acumen in everything he does. So when he put that little nugget out there for battle, what did Battle do?
Because there's a lot of mistrust going on between them. Jose gets arrested and he's like, well, why are you free? And then, Bumpy puts that nugget of information out there, and he goes and talks to Wild Bill, and he's talking about there's a snitch that's giving information to the FBI. So they know that somebody in one of their camps is revealing information. They just don't know whose side it's coming from. And so, Jose is like, it's not my men, and Bumpy is like, I don't think it's my guys either. And so they're kind of like going down this rabbit hole trying to figure things out. And so Bumpy goes and questions the group of bankers too that he's in business with, and they are kind of like, it's not us, but Wild Bill kind of told him, he was like, whoever is the one that denies it the hardest is usually the person that's the rat. And it seemed for a second that it was going to be coming from Archie.
Yep.
And he was the one that was really going hard defending the bankers. But for some reason, I didn't think it was him.
Thought it was him.
I never thought it was.
I thought the Jose Battle thing was a ruse. It was because the government, I was like, I felt like them taking him in was a ruse to get information about, because he was the one that said the last episode ended with him saying, Bumpy was never going to turn on his fan. He said, but I could get that information.
Exactly.
So when I heard that, I was like, he the one. That's what I thought. I was like, it's on his side, and they brought Jose in so it wouldn't look suspicious. Like with him getting him locked up, the Bumpy was like, well, it couldn't be him because he's in the bang. So
Exactly.
But
yeah,
see,
I didn't.
once again, a bad play on the government because Bumpy thinks things through. And it smelled fishy to Bumpy from the very get. Like he said, why didn't you get me? You got Jose. And so, oh man, what I love about this program, in as much as, some names and situations have been changed to protect the innocent, we're really getting a glimpse of the way things really happened back then.
Yep.
And even with J. Edgar Hoover, because J. Edgar Hoover, well, yeah, I mean, hell, we can
They were
go
about to blackmail him too.
Oh
Talk about him in a dress and a wig.
but that's true, and that's who he was back then. And I love Wild Bill, because Wild Bill brought it up. Okay, so if you can't let my man go, Jose Battle, if you can't let him go, I got some stuff on your guy that ain't gonna look pretty once it hits the streets. So you had no choice but to let him go. But and as much as Hooker had information on everybody. That's why he was able to last as long as why he was able to do what he did.
Listen, it wasn't his administration that's and also no, it was his administration. They made sure that they sent the pictures and stuff to MLK's wife when
he did it. He did. Oh my God. I mean, Hooker was just
Hoover.
Jake Hoover, he was just he was let me just put it this way. I was trying to think of a word beyond that, but let me stick there for a moment. That right now my vocabulary will only go as far as that. But he was, oh my God,
And so like what I'm seeing is that after that information is revealed, Jose actually does get out of jail. And Bumpy's like, wait a second, what you doing out so quick? And he realizes, like, Bumpy is always so sharp because he's the one that realizes that we got kind of set up in this situation. And they're talking about, well, he got out because we got the rat. And it's this guy there who is basically working on the FBI side, but
Conrad.
Conrad is double teaming. Basically, he really works for FBI, but he's being a mole in the CIA. And Bumpy puts all the pieces together, and he's the one that kind of exposes Conrad. And the whole time it was Harvey's man. And so it was like, Wild Bill, you let this one under your nose for a year. And I kind of liked his approach because he's a no nonsense type person. He was like, I don't want to leave any loose ends. So whether he did it or whether he didn't do it, the problem's out the way now. He took him right on out.
Wild Bill would have killed him anyway. I mean, he was like, well, if you tell the truth, we go a lot more, it's a lot more lenient on you if you tell the truth. No. If he had told the truth, you were dying anyway. So, it didn't matter. But yeah.
Right. But they were thinking that, it actually was a rat, but really it was the mole.
Yeah.
And so, like I think you said this off camera, Ron, I was thinking to put Conrad on the who can get the hands list, but he already got. So he's out of here.
He's got the ultimate hands, but I don't know. Wow. I fear for Bumpy, as we know it in the episodes that we're watching. We know what happened in real life, but as I watch it play out in the episodes, I really feel for him because, he tends to be a loner, and no matter how hard he tries to develop some sort of camaraderie as he thought he had with Battle, he's right back there, a man, on an island all by himself.
Well, Bumpy made some assurances for himself. He told Wild Bill, if you do anything to harm me, I'm going to expose your Operation Mongoose. And so Bumpy always has something in his back pocket to make sure that he's untouched. And then as far as that situation with Jose, he told him, I don't trust you anymore. So this deal is over. We are no longer partners. And I don't blame him not one bit, because you can't be in business with people that you can't trust.
No. And then he threw his, his friend under the bus. And and I know I hear y'all when you guys say how cunning Bumpy is and everything. But I really feel like when he told Jose that, he was like, my brother this, that, and the other. I think he told him thinking he was telling him in confidence. I think he thought that they were that cool at that point because Jose turned his back on the five families to work with him and stuff, and then they get money and stuff. I think he thought that they had some type of brotherhood in that moment when
I think he was hoping that.
That's what. Yeah. I think he was hoping. I think he had a moment. I think he should have kept to himself, but he got comfortable with him.
Yeah.
And I can see that. I mean, I could see it both ways. It's the way he said it to me. He said, "Let me tell you something in private." You only say that to a person when you have some suspicion that he may run his mouth, and you're telling him to not do so. But I mean, and I certainly can see it the way you brought it up, Tiffany.
Mm-hmm.
But I just somehow know with this masterful chess player, he always had a move just in case. It's like, okay, I'm gonna give you this, but if you do this, I got another move for you. He's always
I hear you. The only thing is, I don't see him deliberately divulging. Malcolm's life was already being threatened, and this is his friend, and I don't see him freely divulging that to someone if he didn't think that he was safe. I know Bumpy's men are on him and all that stuff, but I still this is my home.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And if I don't think, if I think at any point that you could possibly be a threat, me telling you something to be a threat to my homie, I'm not going to disclose that to you. Right. So I just think in that moment he felt comfortable.
Oh, he did.
Yeah. And that's why he said, I'm saying this to you in private. He's thinking that he's amongst friends.
Well,
right.
Bumpy don't trust no white folks. So, that's why I'm thinking, yes, he thought he was saying it in private. Yes, he thought that he was.
But he ain't white. He Cuban. He's a man of color.
There are white Cubans and there are black Cubans.
There are, but they're still Hispanic. They're still people of color.
Look. If you sit next to a white person and your skin looks like their skin, call it what it is. So, and I think that's how Bumpy thinks.
That still could have been a misstep on his part because he already knew how Jose felt about people that align themselves in that political arena. And so, Malcolm is already, like you said, in the hot seat for going with the UN speech and being aligned with Che Guevara. So it's kind of like you could only expect that if Jose feels that way about Castro, he might also feel that way about Malcolm. So that little tidbit of information was a gamble to expose.
Let me ask
about it. Elise traveled with them, and you don't think Elise told Bumpy that Malcolm got sick when he was over in Africa and stuff? That she may have said, I think there was an attempt on Malcolm's life when he was over there. So yeah, I think his defenses were down when he.
It might have been, but let me ask: is that the first time that Jose met with Wild Bill and Conrad? Was that the first time that they had that little union? That Bumpy knew of.
Really know, but it seems like Jose is also very comfortable, providing that information back to Wild Bill in the presence of Conrad. So he must have been around him before.
Yeah, I'm
to
saying
say something like that around him.
Right. And what I'm getting at is if Bumpy had seen them together before, knowing Bumpy, that's an odd relationship type thing, because you now know who Wild Bill is. He's CIA. Now, you didn't know who Conrad was, or at least you didn't know he was a mole, but they were just a little too comfortable when he did come down the steps and they said, oh, come on, join the party.
Yeah.
Comfortable for me.
Now, I wanted to ask you guys about this thing with Mamie because, Bumpy asked Mamie to get Lillian to go on the trip. He said he was going to provide them with some plane tickets so that they could go to the Cayman Islands. And, Mamie said she would do it. And so here Archie and Lillian are getting ready to ride off to the airport, but Archie gets shot in the head and she comes back, asking Mamie, can you get Bumpy to figure out who did this to Archie? It doesn't make sense. I know Bumpy will figure it out. And of course, Mamie is like, oh my gosh, like I put these people in this position. So she has a little bit of guilt on her, but she's also looking at Bumpy like, you put me in the middle of this? Like, this is what you were going to do?
But
so
can I say this first?
Up her bags and she walked and slapped Bumpy on the way out the door.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know, Bump. This might be the last straw.
Okay, I'm going to get to that slap, but let me say this to y'all who may be in danger. Once your bag's in the car, leave. Have that discussion on the road. Because, all that discussion that you all were having. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Have that discussion.
The same thing.
Yeah. Y'all
don't sit there.
Yeah, I mean, and not only that, Archie had some suspicion. He didn't know what was going on. He certainly probably didn't know his life was was threatened or it's in danger. But damn, get in the car, have that discussion on the road.
On the plane.
Right.
On the plane, even. Yeah, maybe when you get to wherever the heck you're going. Now, Now, Bumpy knew he was getting slapped because that slap came from Munich. I mean, it was so slow and deliberate, So Bumpy knew he had it coming, because he's usually a lot sharper than that. But hey.
Yeah, I knew it was over for Bumpy when she threw that sweet potato pie in the trash.
Yeah, well, that's true too. But I didn't think she would leave though. That I have to be honest, that right there got me. I told you.
I told you. And I thought it was gonna be about the artist or whatever, but I think it was a combination of things. It wasn't just one thing. That was the last straw. Because there's been tension all season. She's been wanting to, she has her own ambitions, and then she's been feeling guilty about Bumpy's dirty side. Now, Bumpy's business has gotten a friend of theirs killed, and it's not Bumpy's fault, but it is his fault because what he's involved in.
Right, and when she asked that question, "Are you still doing drugs?" and he didn't answer, I think that was her answer for her.
Exactly. So she had enough, and who knows? They may come back together, and stuff. But right now, yeah.
So you guys feel that Bumpy, because in my eyes, they were going to kill Archie whether Bumpy was involved or not. So do you feel like Bumpy actually does have some blame to be had in this Archie's death?
Well, yeah. I mean, he has blame for the fact that he was still doing drugs. I think if he had done what his wife asked him to do initially, get away from it, get out of it, then Archie would still be alive.
But the Archie thing didn't have anything to necessarily do with the drug
Archie
thing.
Was the fall guy.
No.
Right. It was about the Malcolm situation.
It was. They needed a fall guy.
But what I'm saying is they wouldn't have had that fall guy because Bumpy wouldn't have been in the confines of that group in the first place had he stayed away from drugs.
Right.
Now, remember,
no, you're right in that sense.
And
You're
that's
right.
I think, and that's where Mimi was coming from. See, so Mimi was coming from that thing that you're still doing drugs. That led to this, which led to that, which leads to Archie having his life taken. So I think that's where Mimi got off and went like, okay, I'm done with this. Like you said, Tiffany. Right, yeah, how much or how far this goes with Bumpy and Mimi, I don't know, but I think that's where the straw that broke the camel's back. I think that
that's the last straw.
So indirectly,
indirectly,
right?
Indirectly, he did. But on the other side, they used Archie as as a pawn, as a fall guy, because even the FBI guy said to Bumpy when he was in the office, when he was trying to figure it out, he was like, "You're just a pawn." He let Bumpy know you're being played. Like this ain't even about drugs or anything like that. And that's when they saw, the whiteboard, the mantle with all the stuff, Malcolm and all that. So
and the theater outline. I mean, he could see that they are really after.
It's a plot.
They're really right. They're really trying to kill Malcolm. But I don't know.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking out loud. I don't know. I don't know where Bumpy goes at this point, particularly with Malcolm. But
along the lines of this Malcolm thing, because he has so many targets on him coming from multiple directions. So, this whole thing, Elise kind of shows him a picture in the newspaper of a cartoon of him kind of, being burned. And then, it's like coming from all of these different mosques. And Omar actually goes undercover. For a second, I was about to put Omar on the who can get the hands list,
Yeah.
because I
I know
was
you
like,
would.
hold
I know
up,
you
bro,
would.
what you doing here?
I know.
Well, he got with what's her name? The one that loves him so.
Marnie.
What's her name?
Yeah, Marnie. Yeah,
Marty.
that's the one. That's who's been hands list.
Yeah, that's really.
Yes, Marnie goes on the hands
Marnie.
list.
Yeah, and he.
Marnie, Clyde
Sister
White,
Sandra, or whatever.
yeah, all of them can get it.
He played her like a fiddle, and I was happy to see that. So his allegiance is still with Elise.
Oh, he loves Elise.
He loves her. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't looking that way though. At first, I was like, I know he didn't.
Yeah,
but it turns out that he went and he searched. First of all, he got the information from Clyde. What they were trying to do, that they actually were actively plotting on him still.
Right.
He got some of those details, and he was able to take that information back to Malcolm. And he searched all throughout his office and actually found the bug, that the listening device.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were wondering, how Omar would be able to prove himself to Elise. And she said through actions. And this was probably one of the biggest steps of proof of action that he could have taken. He showed it both to Elise and to Malcolm. And Malcolm actually rewarded him by making him chief of security.
Which is a great step, because I really, I think he couldn't have chosen a better chief of security.
But the other people that he has played, man, Clyde and Marnie, once they see that he really is aligned with Malcolm, they're going to be like, oh, we coming after y'all even more now. You played us.
Yeah. And that's what was so confusing to me, because you can't hide what you just did.
I was just gonna say he's gonna probably die.
Yeah.
and then I know when you see the Malcolm X movie, portrayed by Denzel, when he passed, he sent that day that he died, he pretty much sent his bodyguards away that day.
Right.
So exactly. I'm interested to see how this is gonna play out. Like, is something gonna happen to Omar, or are they gonna, follow that, the movie and have him send security away?
Yeah, It's interesting, because if Omar was true to being back with Malcolm, then the question would be, why would you have sent, your security away at that point? So was he dead at that point? Was it, I don't know what transpired for that. I never understood why his security left him in the Malcolm story.
Because he pretty much pleaded with, because when you hear even in this conversation, with Malcolm and Elise, he says to her, "I'm on borrowed time." So at that point, he had already accepted.
Exactly.
And he also said, "I'm not gonna hide from it."
He said, "I'm not gonna hide from it. I'm gonna do what I need to do."
But as chief of security, chief of security, you would have had to fire me, because you're gonna have some people with you.
Right.
They would be out that door. They would be outside that door. Inside, you would have had security. Now, if you don't want security, fire me, because that's my main job is to take care of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, this whole episode, the main takeaway that I had from this whole situation with Bumpy and Jose, all the way on to what we're about to talk about next with Columbo and Stella, this show showed me that, whoever has the leverage has the power. So Columbo and Stella, are trying to figure out this thing. Columbo actually goes to the families, and he's like, what's up with this hit on my life? I don't understand where this came from. And they actually revealed to him, it's because you're sleeping with Stella. And he's like, I never touched her, so what are you talking about? And so now he actually knows. And I was like, oh, Stella, girl.
Yeah, for a minute there, I thought he was going to kill her.
I thought so too.
But it just shows too how Stella is such a black widow. I mean, the lawyer had to take a beat down all because of her.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm surprised he didn't write her out.
Yeah, good point, because he's taking a brutal beating, and he still, he keeps his mouth shut about Stella.
He held his own, though. He ain't say nothing.
No, he did. I mean, he did, and Stella just sitting there watching the man get beat when she knows the whole story.
Exactly.
She did tell Columbo the truth
at the end. After that man got beat down.
Yeah, but the brother had to. I mean, not brother, but he had to get a beat down, just all because of Stella.
Yeah. Well, the other folks were around. That's why she didn't say anything then. Because she couldn't, because she would have been compromised because everybody else was in the room. When she and Columbo were alone, that's when she told him, I gotta tell you the truth.
But it never had to happen in the first place because she was the one that told Columbo about the lawyer.
Yeah, she lied.
Yeah, I'm saying so. I don't know. This child,
I don't know. I'm doubtful that Stella is gonna make it out alive after this situation. I think Columbo is playing nice with her because
Columbo got his nose wide open. He loves himself.
I don't know.
I don't know. She might not. Well, the other family.
But other families
might get her or whatever and stuff. But it was smart of her to put it together with Olympia and everything, and find out who the boss was that helped her put out the hit and stuff. That was smart thing. She definitely is. She got Chen's bloodline for sure. She definitely got it in her.
She didn't have a choice at that point. Like, you gonna tell me that you lied on me, and so you better help me get out of this situation. That's the least you could do, And so that whole plot, like you said with Olympia, that proved valuable because, like I said, they got the leverage that they needed to go back to the families and kind of like blackmail Tommy, to which we kind of found out that Tommy not only just helped Olympia, they was also sleeping together.
Oh, and all this stuff, and he had a nerve that had been getting on Columbo saying, you can't do that, you know how fathers are and stuff, but you were messing with his wife. I'm like, y'all scandalous.
Oh, that's even worse.
No, literally. I mean, I don't know which is worse. You're part of a family, a part of and you're gonna mess with Chen's wife of all mobsters.
Yeah, that's foul. Woo. So, that was the perfect leverage that they needed to sanction. Put that thing in place where if anything happens to basically they're saying if Columbo's sanction and Chen's sanction, they're both. So one make the move on the other person can get shot.
I was hoping they take out.
Columbo took it a step further too, though. He said, not only do I want the sanction on Chen, I also want 10% of your profits. Yeah. And on top of that, I am going to take over Harlem.
He's taking Harlem. Yep.
Did he say 10% or half?
I thought he said 10%.
I thought he said half of his profit.
Okay, I'm going to have to go back and watch. I thought I heard 10%.
Because when I thought half, and that's real steep. But then again, like you said, it's your life.
I mean, and he said he's taking Harlem, so that's going to be drama with Bumpy too. That's going to cause head to head.
I mean, they already head to head after the thing with Monsieur 98.
With the Jose battle thing, that that's going to be a trip because now Bumpy has dissolved his relationship with Battle, and Battle gave him the guns and the men, the backup and stuff. And now Columbo is saying, "Well, now I'm taking Harlem." So that's
Well, he also thought he got rid of Harlem. That's what he said to the tribunal that was sitting there. I took care of Bumpy. No, you didn't take care of Bumpy. Bumpy's very much alive in Harlem, and I guess there's some things you don't know. But what though? I really like Columbo. I don't know why, but for one thing,
I like him too. He's right.
Yeah,
he's fine. I like when he was talking to Olympia, trying to get the information out of her. He's like, you a hard broad, like you solid.
Yeah, that actor is killing that role.
He is killing it.
He's killing it.
Yeah, he is. But I'm just thinking about this thing, like I said before with Stella. He gave her the plane tickets to get out of here, go to Paris like she wanted. But he said he really wanted her to stay and kind of partner with him. He kind of, stroked her ego, told her how smart she was and how savvy. And for a woman in that time, that's a huge compliment to say that you want to partner with me and bring me on as kind of the brains of your operation and to help you out. So I think she was kind of, smitten with that offer and she decided to stay. But I'm like, does somebody let that kind of accusation go that easily, even though you helped him kind of smooth it over? I mean, his life still could be taken.
Nose wide open.
Well, is he going to use her as leverage against Chen? Is he going to use her as leverage against Chen? Like, say, well,
I think there's a plot here. I think he got motives.
He might. And you know
I
what?
don't. I just see a man that his nose is
He
wide
seems
open
open.
once
He
again.
does seem open.
He is
does.
very open to
I
her.
know.
But I don't trust it too.
Right.
I feel you. See, I'm like, he might use, because Chin already tried to kill him, and he might use.
Well, look
I
at
think
this.
her nose is
as
wide
leverage.
open after
No,
he
I
kind of
don't.
stroked her
No,
ego.
no, she can flip on a dime, but
She can, but she
think,
looked like she was like feeling him a little bit more than usual.
well, I think there's some softening up on her end, but what Columbo knows, there aren't many women like her. In fact, very few. And that's what he's probably more in love with, the fact that the fruit don't fall far from the tree. He knows that there's a little bit of chin in her, and she's proven it. I mean, look, she saved his life, and now no questions asked. She didn't break down. She didn't have a problem with it. She put a bullet in the back of a man's head just to save Columbo.
Saved his life. Yeah.
Saved his life. So you gotta respect a woman like that.
I think so. There's some mutual respect there,
well,
but I think the fact that she got what she been begging for this whole season, and she didn't go. So I'm like, okay, she must have some feelings there too.
What did I say at the beginning of the season? Did you think that it was a possibility those two?
I think there's a possibility. I definitely think that there's a love connection there,
well,
but I do think that other outside, issues could interfere.
But think of it this way: the
had.
fact that she got the ticket to France, she's now free. So now she's free to do whatever she wants to do. If she wants to stay, she can stay. If she wants to go, she can go. And I think that's what she always wanted to begin with, her freedom. And so now Columbo actually gave her that by giving her those tickets, because if she, like I said, she can either stay and listen to what he has to say and see if she wants to be a part of it, or she can split. So she has her freedom, which is what she's always wanted to begin with. And that's what really Columbo gave her. He gave her her freedom. Now the question is,
I don't know. That freedom could be a false sense of freedom.
Well, yeah. freedom comes at a cost. And and the question is, are you willing to pay the price? Once she finds out what that price is.
I'm still very skeptical about them actually, being a couple and doing all that he's saying. I think that both of their lives are in danger still.
I think so too. I think so too.
Well, I don't know. It depends, because Tommy can't be stupid enough to, Tommy seems like he can remove the head on Columbo. He has to, and let's put it this way: if they do hit Columbo, I wouldn't put it past Stella to rat on Tommy.
I doubt it. I wouldn't doubt her either. Sorry. I think Stella, she had, like I said, it's a game of leverage, and she knows a lot.
And women always have the leverage in these situations. She can
move those chess pieces however she chooses.
She can, and she can do just that.
Yeah. So this was such a good episode, because like so many things that I could have never called happened. This whole thing with Archie, what made me actually leaving Bumpy, I was like, that's a huge thing for her. So I don't know. I
told y'all she was great bounce. I just said she was going to bounce over the drug addict, but I just,
Yeah, no, I never thought that Stella would stay after getting her freedom. So much went down.
Yeah, I didn't see this part coming. I mean, the drug addict, I didn't think she'd bounce over, but
just a combination. Archie,
Archie
close to home.
Well, yeah, and then she being good friends with his wife, that I could understand, but I never saw that coming either. So great writing, because
yes,
we didn't see it coming.
Right. And it's so interesting too, because this is actually kind of based on history. You would think that you might be able to predict some or most things, but they keep it so fresh and they keep you on your toes with the writing, so that you really can't always predict what's going to happen. So I really love that about this show. It's like, it's always keeping you on the edge of your seat. It's very witty, very, the characters are very savvy. They know how to maneuver and outsmart each other. So it's really just an awesome show all the way around.
Yeah. And let me say, rest in peace to Bumpy's widow wife, because he died first, but she died, I think, at age 94. She lived to be a good age. So, yeah. But, I don't want to know. I don't want to look at the true story. I just like what I'm getting from MGM Plus. I love it. I love what I see. I'm living vicariously through these characters. I mean, it's really
yeah, because it seems like they get to do a lot of the stuff that you want to do.
You want to do, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And I'm just looking forward to seeing what goes down. We know things are winding down in this storyline with Malcolm. So I think, it's only this is episode 7. So we only got 3 left.
Yeah.
And I think for sure Malcolm's death is going to happen in these next 3 episodes, which is going to be a huge blow to Bumpy, because I know now that he knows all the information that he has from DA Pike and that big drawing board he had with the whole layout of what they're trying to do to attack Malcolm. I think he's going to do everything in his power to try to prevent it from happening. But ultimately, we know Malcolm dies, and that's going to really crush Bumpy.
Yeah,
so I kind of want to see like how he's going to cope with that situation.
That's probably going to be season 4 because Malcolm, he's going to go in the season finale.
Yeah, I think so.
But Bumpy died in what year?
Not too long after.
Yeah, it was 63, I think. Yeah, he died in 63. So yeah, it wasn't much longer after that. So maybe he just, gives it all up and,
It wasn't to violence though, Right.
No, it wasn't. Right.
Wasn't it natural causes? He had.
Yeah.
So
that means if that's the case, then in season 4, that might lead to the relationship with Frank Lucas and stuff. Remember, we had the discussion with Chris Brancato, and we talked about like what direction, and like we know that there was like a mentorship with Bumpy and Frank Lucas and stuff. So especially with the focus shifting with once Malcolm passes, that could be a way to go.
Speak it up. That's a whole nother series.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
speak that into existence, because I'd love to see that one with Frank Lucas, because he was.
Yeah, he was. Bumpy was a mentor to him.
Yes,
so
he was.
That's.
All right, MGM Plus. All right, MGM Plus. We just Lux. Y'all writers, start writing.
Green light probably is already written.
Lux. Episodes 1 and 2 ends Bumpy. 2 and 10.
There you go. Going into Frank. So I don't know. That's something to look out for.
Start writing.
Do you guys have any other things you want to add to this conversation, or anybody want to put on who can get the hands list or give the game ball to? I know we already talked about Conrad. What's
Conrad
getting the hands.
Olympia.
I think Jose also gets the hands for
Jose gets the hands for being a snitch.
I think DA Pike. He kind of irritated the heck out of me.
Yeah, well, all of them did. All the law enforcement irritated me.
I'm gonna give the game ball to Columbo.
I'm giving the game ball to Omar. He proved himself. He was looking crazy.
I want one more episode.
I know. I'm still.
I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I know you are.
But I'm still looking at him. Yeah. So I'm not quite ready to give him game ball.
I give it to Columbo because he was able to figure all this out. And he got Olympia, her name, and because she was I was hoping somebody kept
Olympia could get the hands too. I think you already said that too. But I think I want to add Tommy on there too.
Definitely Tommy. Yeah,
Tommy can get the hands.
That whole
how do we feel about Stella? Is Stella getting the hands, or is she getting the game ball for the chess moves?
I want to give her the hands because she should have never did it to start with.
Yeah, you know what? She does deserve the hands for that because that man could have got killed.
Yeah, he could have. No, he could have. And beaten to death. He didn't have to get shot. People have been beaten to death.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about, I was talking about Columbo, but you're right. The lawyer too. The lawyer got beat, got shot and stuff. That poor man. But even Columbo had a hit on his life, over a lie. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So list is long this time around, we got everybody on who can get the hands list.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to thank everyone for watching. Please drop down in the comment section and give us your thoughts on this episode, as well as your predictions for the remainder of the season. Make sure you click the subscribe button, like the video, and also click the notification bell so you're alerted whenever we post. We are also on all social media platforms at The Spot Real Talk. So give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok to keep up with all we have going on. There's also a bunch of interviews in our interviews tab where you can see a whole playlist of interviews, especially with the cast. We did Ofanesh Adera and also Antoinette Crow Legacy, who are Mamie and Elise on this show. We've also talked to Chris Brancato, who is showrunner and writer for the series. Just a wealth of information in all of those interviews. And then on other shows, especially BMF, we have pretty much interviews with anybody from the cast that you could think of. So,
except Terry.
Yeah, well,
right, just that one.
We were trying to get the dog Blackie, but he died. So.
Yeah, so just go check out that playlist. There's a bunch of good stuff over there as well in our interviews playlist. And I think on that note, if you guys don't have anything else you want to throw in there, gonna call it a night, and we'll be back next week to recap episode 8. Night.
So tired, but you know I can't stop now. Came way too far, won't throw in the towel. It ain't looking real good, but I won't give up. Pac said that I gotta keep my head up, so I ain't going nowhere. Yeah, I'm standing right here. Demons all around, but I ain't got no fear. You can kick me down, but I won't stay down. I run this town, ain't backing down. We going in rounds. Yeah, the winds will blow, but these roots too deep. I'm on my feet, the underdog, and I won't be beat. In the fire now, but I won't be burned. I was waiting for this, and now it's my turn. Sweat on my face, blood in my eyes.